Okay, recording now. Rob here from Bestseller Publishing. This is for our BSPU call. I don't even know what date it is, November 13th, Tuesday, as always, at noon Pacific. And as I said today, I'm not doing my normal recording, and repurposing, some of my training on Facebook, because today's more of a, call it a public service announcement for our BSP clients, of which you are one. And I was just thinking about it from this weekend. Whenever I actually worked most of the day yesterday, but whenever a weekend comes up or there's some kind of holiday or something, I generally spend a lot more time reading, thinking, journaling, kind of diving in to things that we want to do within the business, ideas that I have, things that I've wanted to get some clarity on, and probably a lot like you. Holy cow, when I do that, I come up with a laundry list of stuff that I want to accomplish and get done. And I mean, it's not small stuff. I bought a domain, a year ago, longer than a year ago at this point now. And I paid a lot of money for it, 5 figures. I own publish.net, which is a great domain. It's been around for a long, long time. And I've not done anything with it. I had a whole big SEO blog plan that I wanted to build that out for organic traffic and to build out that part of our business, and I've not done anything. So I wrote that on the list, right? It was a long list of stuff that really, I've already invested in and haven't made direct progress. And I thought, you know what, if this is me, I know this is a lot of our clients. And so I just want to share with you just some thoughts that I had in all of this and kind of 3 steps, if you will, on what to do, because you, like me, have a lot of shiny objects that are getting your attention, that are taking you away from things that should be producing revenue, things that are important for you to get done right now. And they hold promise of opportunity and impact and income and all of those things. And yet in many cases, they're nothing more than a shiny object and, something that's going to hook you and take you away from like the core things that you need to be doing with your book and with your business. So I want to share with you an example, and I want to give you kind of the 3 steps that I want you to kind of follow. If you haven't gotten your book done, then you need to follow it with your book. We're coming towards the end of the year, which means there's going to be at least some opportunity for downtime, which means you can focus on your book and get it done, work with, if you're in our ghostwriting program or in any of the other pieces, work with the members of the Bestseller Publishing team to get that stuff done. If you're trying to do it on your own, then great. This is your opportunity during this time to really bear down and complete it. So as many of you know, and you can even see in the background there, my white pad, when I originally drew out my free plus shipping funnel and the steps of that funnel, it has been an enormous amount of work, of focus, of attention. And because of that, we have made incredible progress with this. As you know, the book was completed and launched. I think it was in and around August. It did really well through our launch. I launched it exactly as we launch your books. I didn't do anything different, anything special. I didn't launch it to my list, even though my list is large. I wanted to do it exactly as Bestseller Publishing does it for you. And then it was all about the focus of getting our free plus shipping funnel up. So here I am through this weekend creating this laundry list of items that need to get done at Bestseller Publishing. But knowing that my free plus shipping funnel really still needs a lot of love. And so I came up with these kind of 3 steps that are really simple, and there's no mad science when it comes to this. But this is helpful to me, and I hope it'll be helpful to you. So point number 1, if you will, is focus. Jim Collins of Good to Great, I believe it was, said, if you have more than 3 priorities, then you don't have any priorities. And I believe that. If you have a laundry list of things that are priorities in your life, in your business, etc., then you really don't have any. And you're just jumping from one thing to the next, making very incremental, minute progress on that, and really not getting anywhere. And this is true for me. And so what I have to do, and what my primary focus throughout the rest of this year is going to be, is on that free plus shipping funnel that you see right there, because we've gotten tremendous results from it already, but there's a lot of work left to be done. So we've had to really focus in, and in some ways that requires us to take our eye off these other shiny objects and things that are interesting to us, and really narrow my focus, and especially a couple of my team members' focus, to get stuff done. Part of creating the free plus shipping funnel and using this on the front end was creating all of the different upsell opportunities, and really figuring out, okay, what is it that my ideal client, not you because you're already my client, but those of you that will come, or those that would come in the future through the free plus shipping funnel, what are the things that I don't have created right now that would be really desirable? And one of the things was, a workbook. And so I created 3 different workbooks: a publish workbook, meaning a writing workbook, a promote workbook, and a profit workbook, all from this. Now, this was done with me. It was also done with Sarah in our office, who went through, oh my gosh, just hours and hours and hours of content, not to mention went through my entire book to create 3 workbooks that would go along with this as an upsell opportunity. Not only that, but I had to get the audiobook done. We had to create brand new membership sites that needed to be done for people that bought, various different offers of our upsells. In other words, once the book is done and the initial funnel was completed, there was an enormous amount, and continues to be an enormous amount of work that needs to be done. And I am tempted, my temptation is to take my eye off that ball, take my focus off that, and move it to one of these other, quite frankly, really important, not urgent, like the publish.net website that I own, that domain, which again cost me 5 figures, a significant amount of money. That's not an urgent matter, right? It's not crying out for my attention, but it's an important matter. I mean, I could be driving a ton of organic traffic right now for anybody that's searching the term publish or publishing, which many people that are my ideal clients are doing that. It's an important project, but I can't take my eye off this ball, because point number 2, after you focus and get real significant progress made on your project, then you have to fine tune, right? So we're in the process right now of fine tuning our free plus shipping funnel. What does that mean? Well, we have all of the upsells up and running with our free plus shipping funnel. Everything is up and running. But guess what? Some things aren't working as well as other things are working. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you just so you can see some of this in real time. I actually wasn't planning on doing this, but let me go ahead and do it because I love you and you're my clients. So let's see, so this is my ClickFunnels, and this is this particular funnel. This is just my free plus shipping funnel. And this is basically 11 days from the 3rd to the 14th. So here's what we have right now. We've had 1,500 unique visitors hit this web page through our paid advertising. We've had about 500 of those opt in. So that's a 32.98, 33% opt-in rate. That's actually really good. I am very happy with that opt-in rate, which means that 33% of the people that are hitting the page are giving me at least their email address. So fine-tuning, probably don't need to do very much with the opt-in page itself. However, that's not 494 people that gave me their credit card and paid for the shipping for my free book to be sent to them. That's only 138 people, which is 9.21%. So 138 of these 494 people that opted in, 138 of the 1,500 roughly people that hit the page actually went all the way through and gave me their credit card information to pay for at least the shipping. Now, here's the thing. I've been told that's a pretty good percentage. If you can get somewhere in the 9, 10, 11, 12% rate, that's pretty good. Now, I'm getting some other advice from buddies of mine, especially in Russell Brunson's Inner Circle group, because they run a lot of free plus shipping funnels. And I really want to make sure that those numbers are solid. Now, what you'll notice is that's not just the number of people that gave me $7.95. That's also a number of people that took one of the two various upsells. Now, here's the thing. Not enough people, in my opinion, are taking the upsells, what we call bumps, on the initial page. So that to me is a little, okay, we might need to readjust the bump. One of the bumps is the workbook, right? This thing. And I'm feeling like I'm only giving them the digital version, but I'm feeling like in the small area that I have to share with people about it, to sell it in essence, that I'm feeling like, you know what, I don't have enough area to really help people understand the value of this workbook. I mean, I am so proud of this thing. I mean, it is like awesome. It's rock solid. If you can see it, I know it's the smaller window. I'll show it to you later. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's not enough. So we have some work to do. Now, the first upsell is my $47 upsell, and that's $47 for the audio version of the book as well as the 6 video courses. Right now, about 18% of the people that buy are taking that first upsell for $47, totally digital. That to me seems a little low. I was hoping that was going to be 25% to 30%. So is that the price? Is that, you know, the copy on the page? Is that the way it's presented? I don't know, but I know that I need to get that up a little bit higher. And then last but not least is our $297 BSPU offer, and or 3 payments of $97, which includes like the archives, etc. And we've had about 5.75% of the people take that, which that's actually a little high because I think we ran one test of that. And that's 5.75% of the people that hit the page. That's not 5.75% of the buyers of this. That's a little less than that number. It's more like 3%. And I think 2 or 3% on a $297 offer is pretty good. Anyway, what's the point? I have a lot of fine tuning to do before I can move off of this. Now, let me share some other things with you on this. So here's something else that I learned, which is very, very interesting. So over the weekend, I'm going to show you what the numbers are. Actually, people buy like crazy over the weekend. So these are my numbers. My average cart value is $43.52 over the weekend. That is incredible. But look at this, which is disappointing. During the weekdays, I'll go Monday to that same Friday. Over the weekdays, you'll see that average cart value go down significantly, $26.97. Now, why does this matter? Well, it matters for 2 reasons. Number one, it cost me $7 to actually fulfill and ship this book out to people, right? So literally the $7.95 that I'm getting is covering the shipping and fulfillment of this book being sent. And it's costing me right now a little bit high. It's costing me about $25 to get a buyer. That means I'm losing money every time during the week. I'm losing money every time I sell one of these. Now, I don't terribly mind that I'm losing money because these are great prospects for us to sell other things to, and for people to come into and actually say, I don't just want your book, Rob. I want you to do all of your services for us. So there's a reason that I'm running this. But here's the thing. If I could get my average cart value to stick at around the $43, which is what the weekend looks like, then now I'm actually making profit while I'm driving leads into my business and opportunities. So how many leads would you like if you're now making money by attracting leads into your business, right? An infinite number, right? Because then we can just, scale our business as much as we want to scale our business, etc. Point being is I went from focus, right? I was focused on this one project until I got it up and running, and I got it up and running. But now that it's up and running, I can't move away from it because I am in the fine-tuning stage of this project, and this fine-tuning stage could last for a couple of months. Besides the fine-tuning that I have to do of the funnel itself, I also have to fine-tune the ads. I'm also starting to use Google AdWords in conjunction with this funnel. I'm going to start using YouTube, so that's going to require fine-tuning. In other words, there's a lot to do before I can take my eye off this and put it on to another project. And the final F is, look, when you have the numbers working the way you want them to work, then you can finish, at least relatively speaking, finish the project and move on to the next project. Now, how many can you juggle all at one time? I don't know. I think Jim Collins, pretty smart guy, one of the top business builders and executives of all time, said if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. That sounds about right to me. I don't know that I can really focus on big projects if I have more than 2 or 3 that I'm running. So how does this all relate to you? Simple. If you haven't gotten your book done, that is the biggest project that you have going. And for you to hem and haw and not really focus in on getting that thing completed so that it then can be fine-tuned by yourself or by members of our team if we're doing it for you, and then the other pieces come along, you are doing yourself a tremendous disservice. Stop chasing the shiny objects and the next thing that you think is going to give you the dopamine hit, right, and the rush, and focus. Either one, focus on getting the book done if it's not done. Number 2, if your book is done and has been launched, then your focus has to be, what am I going to do? What 1 or 2 projects am I going to really focus on so that I can start monetizing this book, using this book to attract clients into my business, to make money, to get speaking engagements, whatever it is that you've decided is going to be the thing with your book. Now your attention needs to shift to that as your primary focus. So when it comes to bestseller publishing, your focus is either A, on the book and getting it completed. And look, I've shared with my clients before my $1 million mistake. My first book, which is somewhere on the shelves here, I made all these mistakes. I paid a ghostwriter, like this is real true stuff. I got garbage back from the ghostwriter. It ended up taking me about 14, 15, 16 months to get my book completed. But from the time I got it completed to the time that I started making money with my book was like this, because I started appearing on media and using my book to generate leads. From the time it got done, the next 12 months, I did $1 million in that business because my focus turned to monetizing the book. And if I would have just gotten my book done sooner, I could have started monetizing it a lot sooner. So those of you who haven't gotten your book done, hey, stop chasing the shiny objects, narrow in, focus in, and get it done. Those of you who have gotten it done, you have one primary priority, and that is, how do I make an income and an impact with this book? That's what it needs to be. And I give every single week example after example after example of how my clients like yourself are doing that. You need to pick something that you feel like resonates with you, and then you need to really narrow in and focus. Focus, get that project up and running, then fine tune it, and then you can finish it and move on to the next project. But do not move on to the next project until you fine tuned and finished what you're currently working on. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, this is more of a public service announcement than anything else. So let me open it up. Let me read some of what you said, and then let me open it up to any questions that you have. David says, hi. Hey, David, how are you, my friend? Good evening, Haley from the UK. Good evening, Haley. Thanks for being on. Kevin says we're on. Jill, hi from Alaska. My son gets back from Alaska in the next couple of days, which is cool. Let's see. Haley says, are we talking projects here or 3 priorities across the board? Family, day-to-day work, and then the book. If so, I'm inundated with priorities. You know, that's a good question, Haley. I would say 3 priorities within your business. That's what I would say. Obviously, you have priorities outside of your business, your family, your kids, you know, spouses are priorities. All these things are massive priorities. Who wants to focus on business and then lose their most important relationships? So no, I would say you need to keep your priorities to just 2 or 3 within your business. And you know what? To be honest, depending on the size of the priority, maybe it just needs to be one big one. I mean, as you know, what have I been talking about for months now? My major priority within my business has been getting my free plus shipping funnel up. And I mean, I spent a significant amount of time yesterday in other people's, buying other people's stuff because as I said, I'm building a course around this. This is stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. I want you to see exactly what we've done, because hopefully we can help you to shortcut the process and get to profit a lot faster. Deborah says, do you have anyone on your team I can work with to help create an Indiegogo campaign for raising funds to develop my book into a feature film with Nat Mundell's Voyage Media Group? I love that. I had a great meeting with the producer and Nat from Voyage, and they were very encouraging that the book can be a great niche indie film with the right screenplay. So I need to raise funds to cover development costs. Specifically, I'd like to use Facebook ads to supplement my own network when I launch the campaign. You know what? I love that, Deborah. Unfortunately, there's no one on my staff to do it because it's not something that we know. I don't have any expertise in it. I would recommend, if you have not watched the Kickstarter campaign, which is similar to Indiegogo, it has at least some similarities. I'd watch that Mia Moran's Kickstarter training, which you have access to in the membership area. I would watch that because I think that'll give you some great ideas on how to create, some things that you can sell and get people to buy into the project, whether it's at a low level or at a really, really high level. Let me know that makes sense and answers your question. Jill says, makes sense. Lavana says, I think this was just what I needed to hear today. Awesome. I know I needed to think about it because this weekend, I spend a lot of time reading business stuff. I spend a lot of time journaling and thinking. I want to think. And I looked at this list and I'm like, holy cow, every one of these things is massively important to my business. I can't do all this stuff. I can't. And I'm the person that's going to drive it because these are the kind of projects that I would be driving. So I said, okay, I've got to focus. I've got to fine tune. And then I've got to, and the faster I can do that, the faster I can finish and move on to the next big project. Jill says, it's hard not to chase the shiny objects. It is, right? I've made a commitment to laser focus on accomplishing results. Love it. You need to do that. Haley says, fantastic. Thank you. Apologies if that was a silly question. It was not a silly question at all. Michelle says, laser focus on 1 to 3 tasks. Thanks. Yep. And I gave you one, right? If your book isn't done, laser focus on your book, right? To complete it, then fine tune, right? And then you can finish it and go to the next project, which means the monetization. If you have finished your book, then find one major project that you can focus on to start monetizing your book and making money. And I only give you 100 different examples of that. So. And then Christy says, are your workbooks done? I'm getting close to getting my first one ready for editing. What are you using to create your course from a software perspective? Hey, Christy. So yes, my workbooks are done. I just ordered a physical copy of one of my workbooks. And so you can kind of see it here. It came out really well. It's a little dark, so I'm gonna redo this. And I don't know that I like the glossy. I think I'm gonna go with matte. I like matte for most things. And so I have 3 workbooks really total. I have the writing workbook, the promotion workbook, and the profit workbook. And what I'm going to do, because I'm actually, this is maybe the next project or one of them, I'm actually going to create a free plus shipping funnel around the workbook and then bring people back in to get a copy of my book and other things, right? And so at least I'm going to test it and see if I can get that to work. So it came out super, super well. And I used a company called Digipod to do the printing. Cost me about $2.50 to print a 22-page workbook, and beautifully done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one workbook of all 3 of these and test that and have some of those shipped out to me. So highly recommend Digipod, though, when it comes to workbook printing. They're significantly less expensive than anybody else that I found, and the quality of their work exceptional. They were great to work with. You're also asking about what am I using to create the course. So from a software perspective, I have all of it in a membership area in ClickFunnels. So I use ClickFunnels. The course itself is nothing more than a membership area with, X number of modules, videos that people get, all the stuff that they can download like PDFs and worksheets and my audiobook and all of that. Everything is in ClickFunnels and set up that way. That, from my perspective, it's the simplest way to do it. And ClickFunnels, you pay one fee and you get all these things, right? You get the funnel builder and you get all these other things, an autoresponder if you want it. And so for me, it's just easy. It's less expensive and it works really, really nicely. Jill says, cool, I want to make a workbook too for my branding business. I think people really like workbooks. I hope they do. They're not my upsell, like the percentage of people taking the workbook option is very low. And so I'm not happy with that. But I think, like I said at the beginning of this, I think that's a product of two things. One is there isn't much room. It's a little tiny area on my website on the funnel page. There isn't much room for them to for me to sell it to them. And I'm actually only sending them the digital right now, which for many people, they might not want a digital. They might want this physical thing in their hands. So that's part of the fine tuning process, right? I may create a whole new page in the upsell process where I show people, hey, look, I'm going to ship this physical workbook to you, so that you can go through my book together with the workbook, get your book done, etc., launch it, all those kinds of things. So we'll see. I just feel like more people should be taking it. Christy, you can totally come by anytime. Absolutely, 100%. Jill says it's like accomplishing milestones and it's fun to look back and see. Yeah, it is. And look, this is, you guys know me. I mean, this is not just about having a, really nice paperweight, right? I mean, your book is about accomplishing something for you. It's about income and impact. And for you to make an income and an impact with your book, you have to have other projects that you've completed, right? Like a free plus shipping funnel or like some kind of funnel where you're attracting people in. And so, if you haven't gotten the book done, that's project one. If you have, then you move on to project two. Let's see. Haley, absolutely, Jill. I'm guilty of having tons. Okay, that's for Haley and Jill talking. Physical items for workbooks are better. I agree with that. Christy says, thanks, you are welcome. So good. So tons of folks on today. Great to have you all on. What else can I answer for you? And if nothing else, then terrific. Like I said, I hope you had a nice longer weekend if you did have off or took off from your business for Veterans Day. I actually worked all day, but had a great day connecting with new clients and also, as I said, thinking and kind of processing. So what are the 3 points? Number one, focus. Focus on one project or 1 or 2, 3 projects at the most. Priorities, big rocks that will move your business. Focus, number one. Then once that is completed, meaning that you've made progress and you're starting to get some results back, now you need to fine tune. Second F, fine tune. And then the third F, after you fine tune it to the point of satisfaction, you can finish it and move on to the next project of yours that you're going to really, really focus on. So I hope that was helpful for you today. I know that I needed to hear it. This is something that I thought about for myself, and I thought it would be helpful for you. You guys are great. Great being with you as always, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.